Avec la retraite d'All Might, il est urgent de préparer la relève au sein du lycée UA. Baptisé Team Up Mission, un nouveau système est mis en place pour les apprentis héros. Ils formeront des groupes chargés de patrouiller aux côtés des professionnels. Cette organisation leur apprend...
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our Paws On Animation channel and our Paws On Manga podcast.
Today we're talking about another MHA spin-off manga, Team Up Mission.
And this manga takes a similar approach of School Breeze, only this time each manga the cast teams up with various pro heroes and teachers and training missions. And the problem is they don't do anything.
Pretty much. But before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notifications for future podcasts and one-of videos.
Yeah. So, spin-off of MHA, written by a totally different author, Yoko Akiyama, and it's still in the genre of superhero. Now, these have been running since March of 2019.
Yes.
To date, there's 6 volumes.
Right. And there are so far 4 in the U.S. translated. And what's funny is that when we couldn't get the regular manga series for a little bit when there was a large break, we actually went and started reading a lot of these spin-offs that you probably heard from our other podcasts. There was this, School Briefs, Smash, and Vigilantes. And Team Up Missions is the newest one out of the lineup because Smash has been over for about 2 years now. And I loved how this idea starts out. The two different pros on side missions that take place in little spots between anime and manga. They got so much going on here. You're literally seeing every day of these kids' lives with all these spin-offs combined and OVAs and bonus episodes and anime originals. We're seeing literally every day of their lives.
Yeah. So this is described as following, I'm just going to say Deku and the rest of his classmates at UA High School as they're paired up with students from other hero schools and even pro heroes to participate in special coordinated missions as part of the Team Up Missions program.
Yeah, and they don't bring it up in the actual manga. A little bit, yeah. And the idea of them having little quick team-ups with the pros and stuff really would open the door to a lot of cool combinations of characters, from the students to the teachers to the pros to who they would fight up against. And it really did sound great, even to the point where the artwork looks so good, the style almost looks like Horikoshi's. The only difference is, is they look a little softer, and that's the only reason you know it's not him drawing it. But it was all great concepts in theory. When you start reading it, it's different.
Now, the first volume was great.
Yes.
I really liked it. Okay, this is going to be fun. This was much better than I expected it to be. This was interesting.
Yeah.
So, really fired up like Tenya, ready for volume 2. Then you get to volume 2.
Yeah, and that was weird because the first volume did do as it advertised and teamed up with Gang Orca and other characters, and even had appearance from Melissa Shield from the Two Heroes movie, so you have even more confirmation that the movies are canon to the manga and the anime. But after that book, the story started getting very strange. Not like surreal strange, it's superhero, it's already surreal, but they started being very basic, and they started not even taking advantage of their surroundings. It felt like they were trying to shove in some more things that doesn't fit into the My Hero Academia world, or trying to copy of Horikoshi's style, but you can tell when he's added something to it, and it's another person, because the other person is trying to add in more trendy or things going on now, like they have a hero called Edgelord, which is a very old term that not a lot of people use now, but it sort of dates some of these new character additions. And the further along they get into the book series, aside from characters you might want to see, they start to get less and less interesting. They don't fight villains every chapter. They mostly just do odd jobs, really. They go to an island, they protect a few people, they got patrol, and I get they're students, they're not supposed to do anything hardcore, but they fought 9 in this continuity. They fought 9 in Shigaraki, and a little bit of All For One now, and all these villains come out of the Woolsworth, whether together or separate, but all the Team Up missions only have slice of life things. Like, well, we got School Briefs to be the slice of life thing. I don't want this too.
And it seems like each one has a different focus. Like in number 2, on the cover, you have Todoroki and Kirishima, Bakugo, Kami, and Deku. And just from that cover, you know what
Right.
from the covers. And yeah, that was a little disappointing, unfortunately. And then for volume 3 on the cover, you have Bakugo, Deku. So you know what that's gonna cover.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a spoiler each time you look at the cover of each team up mission. And then the problem is that instead of focusing on that arc and then just like showing you things that went on in the background, maybe leading up to it, how they prepared, he starts going off topic.
Yeah, and something else altogether.
And portraying characters unlike they are like in here, it really irritates me that they portray my Todoroki as an idiot.
Oh, and then they upgraded by making everyone practically an idiot by the time they get to the 4th book. I'm sorry if you disagree.
Excessively mean. And
all the
like
time.
He's in season 1, the first few episodes.
All the time, yeah. He always refers back to being what he was the first season. And now he's using language that's never used in the manga or anime. Very vulgar words that were never spoken. And it was saying a lot of his character by not having him say those more stronger foul language. But now he's always wanting to beat up Deku, punch Deku. He hates everybody pretty much. He's always angry. He's arrogant. He's selfish. And we get that not everybody likes Bakugo, and they still see him as they did the first episode of the first series, even 6 years later. But now you got professional writers saying the same thing and refuse to write in all the depth that Horikoshi's written for the character, and say, no, he's this bully character. He's exactly how he was season 1, no matter what has happened in the story. Got 7 seasons in, he's still the same as he was back then. The same goes for Mineta and stuff. Nobody seems to really write these characters further along where they are in the manga. They just acknowledge the events, but they all act like they're season 1, and it's very disappointing, especially when you get to the patterns of the manga that they keep following. Like you were mentioning about the characters that they advertise on the book.
Yeah, sometimes it almost seems like, I'm sorry, the Arthur didn't read. Either she didn't read the manga or she didn't watch the anime. And maybe she has read like synopsis of what's going on for each arc.
Right.
And then she gets creative and do her own. And maybe it's a tactic because she doesn't want to exactly copy. But you gotta read the source material or watch the source material to give us extra content.
Right.
And it really seems like at times that she hasn't. And
Yeah.
that's really disappointing because again, the first book was done well, which probably means Horikoshi checked it and approved it. And after that, let her have free reign, and then it just kind of went down.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. And especially with oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, so number 4, you have Hawks on the cover.
Right.
So you know exactly what that covers.
Right. And it's one of the last chapters in the book. And they actually stopped doing this sort of pattern thing in it. Well, getting to Hawks first with here is that they kind of really shrink the characters down to only one trait, whereas you mentioned with the others. Hawks, the one trait of Hawks they keep showing is that ladies love him. He has a lot of female fans. He has a lot of fans. Everywhere he goes, there's fans of him. A bunch of women, bunch of girls. Every single time he turns around, women love Hawks. And it was like, okay, what's the point? And they did work into them passing his challenge, but it felt like they were trying to, I don't know if they were trying to say something about the fans or they were trying to egg them on, say, yeah, don't you love Hawks? Don't you simp for him? Look, he's hot. And it's like, why are you so focused on how hot Hawks looks instead of telling me the story? And when they got to the part of the story about him being a minimalist, where he doesn't really acquire much, it doesn't really hit you like that because the characters kind of don't care. And then we don't care because we didn't find out anything that new about him.
So on number 5, you have Bakugo and Deku in the forefront with All Might in the back.
Right.
And that one we actually haven't read yet.
Right. We've only read up to 4.
Number 4. And I mean, you know, I'm not sure how it's going to be, but based on the last 3 books we've read, it's probably going to be sort of disappointing as well.
Smiled, yeah.
It also seems like this particular Arthur has a favoritism for class 1B, which that's not a problem.
Yeah.
But when you start doing it at the expense of 1A,
yeah, and it's all the
they
time.
deserve to be knocked down, then that kind of affects your enjoyment of it.
Right, and it's always based like, oh, Class B are the underdogs, but they show they got skills and talent too, and they can get the flip on Class A at any time. They're just that cool, and that's not the vibe you get from them in the actual anime.
And the problem is, we know they are. It's
Yeah.
not that you don't know they are. It's just Class 1A is the star.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the final thing that ended up not being in books 4 on is that the author started to fall back on the movies as references for the book. And at first it was cool seeing Melissa, but then every book after you kept seeing characters from the movies that are only in the movies show up in the manga. I mean, yes, granted we get to see their canon, but they didn't use them for anything in their story. Melissa at least had some input because she was on this sort of trip where they could use the thing she invented as the upgrades and gear for the people, and she even got her own chapter dealing with what happened with her father in the movie. But then they get to the twins from the two heroes, not the two heroes movie, the Heroes Rising. They were really doing much but having a mini adventure, and it didn't amount to anything. It was nice seeing them, but that was it. Then the third one, people were really excited to see Rhodey Soul, and his whole character trait is just him and planes. He wants to be a pilot. He wants to fly a plane in a book of planes. He probably has a crush on Deku. Those are the only two things that seem to stand out for Rhodey's character.
And it was disappointing because you thought you were going to get to see him more, get more revealed about his personality, his life. He wasn't coming to the movie. Maybe he's going to take part in a mission. You were really excited about it, and then
it was just
like, no.
It was just basic fan service in the terms of, here's a character you really love in this manga. He's not doing anything, but you get to look at him and interact with the characters. You know he's still going to be a pilot. Possibly his feelings for Deku, they've kind of hinted more towards that in this particular book. And you know he still loves his brother and sister, but it's still everything you got from the movie. It's nothing new. So it was like, as much as it was great seeing him again, why bother putting him in if he didn't serve any purpose but fan points?
Right. So if you have read My Hero Academia Team Up Missions, any of them, volumes 1 through 5, 1 through 6, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know in the comments. We've only read 1 through 4. We'll be attempting to get 5 and 6. 6 probably isn't out yet because it's released in Japan. But if you've read them, let us know what you think. If you haven't, they're available in the local library. You can buy them on Amazon. I'm sure wherever books are sold, including Barnes & Noble. Give it a try. Come back and tell us your view of how you think these books are written.
Right. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, weekly videos for your anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching Risk Entertainment.
Now, Mom Entertainment, appreciate you so much.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing like